Welcome to Rational Politics. Today I'm joined by the Mayor of Longmont, Joan Peck. Joan, welcome back to the table.
Thank you, Nigel.
Today we're going to be talking about the different ballot measures to be voted on in the upcoming elections, and we're going to be covering the state and the county. So I'll tell you what, why don't we start with the county first?
Okay.
Okay. So let us start with the very first one, County Issue 1A. Open space sales and use tax extensions and revenue change. Can you sort of Englishify that?
Englishify it.
Englishify it.
Yes, first of all, this is not a new tax. We're asking the residents of Boulder County if you want to continue that tax, extend it further. We are kind of running out of land that we can buy for open space, but maintaining it is very, very important. So a lot of these dollars are going to maintaining the open space that we have. And that is why people like coming to Boulder County.
Absolutely.
And living here. So because it's beautiful and we have space between our cities.
And we've got some beautiful parks.
Oh, yes.
In town. I mean, it's just absolutely wonderful.
Yep.
Good. So I'm going to guess you're for this particular measure.
I am.
I had a funny feeling you were. Okay, let's move on very quickly. County Issue 1B. Okay, affordable and attainable sales and use of tax extension and revenue change. Can you turn that into English?
So this is for affordable housing in Boulder County. So it could be for any city within Boulder County, these dollars, because we are having in the state of Colorado, as I'm sure other states are, a lot of people that need housing for various reasons. So rather than end this tax and then try to figure out how are we going to get dollars to help and build the housing we need, let's just extend it. And we don't have to go back and ask them to vote for a different tax. It's the same tax, and we're just going to extend it to continue to do the good work we're doing on building housing.
Excellent, excellent. Now, that is in one section. Immediately underneath it, there's also a text of County Issue 1B Proposal Resolution number 2023-070. Is that a separate?
No, it isn't.
It's all part of it. I know there's a third one somewhere, and I can't find it.
Actually, that's not going to be on ours, I don't think, because
it's the Lions one.
Yes, it is. It's about transportation for lions. And the City Council supported all three measures because even though that's not about Longmont, it's really important that we support each other, that municipalities in what they need, and because we all are here together.
Absolutely, absolutely. As Red Green says, we're all in this together. I've now got a cupboard full of duct tape and WD-40 because he kept telling us to buy it. Anyway, let us move on here. So that is the county done. Let us move on now to the state.
Okay.
Okay. So we have Proposition HH. Okay. I'll quickly read what it says here. Is a question referred to the voters by the state legislature through State Bill 23-303. So, tell us a little bit about this particular proposition.
This proposition is very confusing.
Oh.
It is very confusing. First of all, it is really about Tabor. And let me explain a little bit about Tabor. Not high, very low, my opinion of what Tabor is after looking at it for years. Douglas Bruce introduced Tabor to the state legislature years ago. I think it was in the 1990s. And what it says is if a municipality or the state asks voters for a tax because they need a certain amount of money for a project or an initiative or whatever, if in fact they get more money than they asked for, then that money, according to, again, it's all up into interpretation, that money that is over and above what the measure asked for, that has to go into a reserve. It can't be used. So what happens with that reserve is that there is a cap on it. So when it reaches a certain level at the state, then the state refunds that money back to the taxpayer.
Which, of course, is a check I get every year.
Yep.
Of varying amounts.
The problem with it is it sounds great, especially if you're getting the check. However, when we, and this goes exactly to what Proposition HH is about. Can the state, instead of refunding the overage, can they keep that revenue, retain and spend the revenue that would I'm reading this, make sure I get it correctly.
That's good.
That would otherwise be required to refund to residents. Can we keep it to give local governments to make up lost tax revenue from the property tax rate reduction? So what it's asking is, can we reduce the property taxes? But because of that, municipalities, school districts, et cetera, get less money because we're reducing the property tax. So can we keep that difference, instead of giving it to Tabor, can we keep it in here to make up the revenues that we are losing? So if you think about it, it sounds really bad. It sounds like we're taking money from the residents, but it was money they would never have had anyway. It is money they voted on to give to the state to do whatever, the city, the state, the county, to do whatever it is they need to do. So what this does for us is that under Proposition HH, the vast majority of taxpayers are going to receive an increased Tabor refund of $820 in 2023. But in 2024, or they did receive, this was written before the property tax. In 2024, if this passes, the impact to the average taxpayer's Tabor refund is only going to be $46. However, their property tax is going to be reduced by $600.
Oh, okay.
So they're not getting a check. We're reducing their property tax and giving the difference back to the state, the county, the city to use. Does that make sense at all?
It did make sense, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm surprised they're actually doing it this way round, to be honest with you. But I mean, really, okay, so I'm not going to get a check for $800. I'm going to save $600.
Exactly.
Basically.
You're going to get a check for $46 instead of, but your property tax will be reduced.
Right.
So you're saving, it just isn't tangible. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but to me it is still tangible.
Yeah, it is, if you're paying attention to that.
Absolutely, because it means the check I write out every year to pay for my property taxes is going to be a little bit less.
It's going to be a little bit less, yes.
Which,
and this is a way to get around Tabor and to reduce the property taxes.
Right.
But of course, property taxes are based upon how much your property's worth.
Yes.
So it's always a question. I mean, we never know what it's going to be worth, because look at.
I mean, we talked about that the last time that you were here at the table, and you know, especially living in the area that we live in, because our property values are really overinflated. They truly are. But it's only because there are so many people that want to come and live in Colorado, because we have wonderful parks.
Right. That's right. But the other thing, specifically to Longmont about this, is that Longmont is de-Bruced. What does that mean? Douglas Bruce is the one who put this Tabor initiative on the ballot.
Yep.
Okay. So when you de-Bruce something, it means that we still have to keep the difference, and it has to go in a Tabor reserve. But and that has a cap on it, and I'm not going to say what the cap is, mainly because I want to make sure I say it right. And
that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. And so we don't have to, at this point, give back a lot of that tax.
But it makes it simpler.
Well, people
really
say, how come there's so many things on the ballot asking us for tax for this, a tax for that? Because we're not allowed to spend all the tax money that we asked for to begin with. Understood.
Now, I noticed looking through this booklet, retain nicotine tax revenue in excess of Blue Book estimate. What exactly does that mean? I mean, anyone sees the word Blue Book, it's auto sales.
I know.
So what is this blue book all about?
This, I guess, to me, blue book just means this is the official language. This is the official, like the blue book for autos. This is the asking price. This is the official book you go to. So it would be the official book for Tabor more than likely.
Okay.
So Proposition HH, yes, we put this on in 2020, and basically what it did was raise taxes on all nicotine products. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think the state expected like $176 million, and we got a whole lot more than that because people were buying a lot more. That was the estimate of what we would get. We got more than that. We got let me make sure I get the correct answer, but I think it was like 230 million. Mm-hmm. So what they're saying is, according to the opponents of this bill, they say they're calling it a new tax. The difference above and beyond what we asked for, that should go into Tabor. We are saying instead of putting that into Tabor, can we, instead of taxing you for early childhood, can we just keep this and put that into our early childhood program? The opponents say because it is a different amount of money for a different initiative, it's a different tax.
Oh, that's silly. I'm sorry, that's silly.
Well, I agree. I think it's silly. I think we should use it. Otherwise, we're going to have to go to the ballot and ask people, we need X amount of dollars for early childhood education.
Yeah.
Will you vote for this?
Yeah, I mean, if it was...
And give this excess back.
Right. I mean, if you were saying, can we use this money to buy Nigel a new Ferrari, then yes, the opposition should be great. But it's not like you're taking the money and squandering it. You're actually using it for a real concern.
Right.
To help real people.
And the money's there immediately. Whereas if it was
Correct.
a new tax, we'd have to collect it for 2 years to have any impact.
Right.
So it's right there.
I say, yeah. I'm in full agreement. Have I forgotten anything here in the ballots that I should have mentioned?
I don't think so.
There's nothing else we can talk about. It's interesting because the last time we did this, we needed 2 separate programs to talk about the town, the state, and the county.
Yeah.
And here we've done the whole thing in probably about 15 to 16 minutes.
Right.
So thank you very much. However,
I knew there would be a however with you.
My turn to use the word. However, let's talk about the roads in Longmont. Now, there's a stretch of road that I use a lot on Gay. It's absolutely perfect. It is the best piece of tarmacking I've seen in a long time. I drive down Kaufman and I think I'm doing an off-road experience. But I know that there are things that you wish to talk about when it comes to the roads in Longmont.
Yes. The reason that Kaufman is an off-road experience is because Kaufman Street's going to be extended. And in order to do that, it's going to be extended so that we can put our transit station at First and Main, and the buses will go through to Kaufman. But Kaufman now dead ends.
Oh, okay.
But in order to do that, before we fix the road, we need to put the infrastructure in, because you don't want to have a beautiful tarmac, then tear it up.
Then nothing but concrete trucks and everything else wandering over it. Agreed.
Well, then you'd have to tear it up to put in the fiber for next light.
Yeah, that's right.
The water, the sewer. So do that first.
Yes.
And then, so some of the ones that are perfect and beautiful, we didn't have to tear them up and replace water and pipelines, etc.
Actually, Gay was totally ripped up.
Oh, was it?
It was. It was closed for a couple of weeks.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I was thinking about that.
And the way they finished it was wonderful. But you told me 3rd Street now is the same.
3rd Street, when you get past Sherman,
Okay.
is not fixed.
No.
But from Main Street to Sherman, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Because remember, that was all torn up. We had to detour all over town.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it was really difficult.
When 3rd was being pulled up and Kaufman was being pulled up all at the same time, trying to find my way through town turned into an adventure.
Right. So now they're going to do the last half of third, or the next portion.
Understood.
Segment, so
Understood. And I guess eventually they'll end up at Hover.
right,
So perfect.
we'll just keep going around.
Just keep going around.
So I know that there are horrible places that people complain about, and our staff cannot go around every street. We just don't have the time or the staff to do that. However, if you have a place that is really a problem for you, or you think it would be for anyone else, there is on our website under transportation, you can find a box for fixing our roads. And you can put in your comment. It also takes pictures and tell them the address and why you need it to be fixed. If you can take a picture, all the better, and upload it. And our staff is on it immediately.
That's right, because a very small hole in a road can easily become a much larger hole in the
Exactly.
road very quickly, depending on the traffic going over it.
Exactly.
And that's a great service that the town offers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people know about it, but hopefully now more of Longmont will fully understand that they can actually say, oi, you
Right.
know, we've got this bloody great big, sinkhole. That's what we couldn't remember on the last programme.
Sinkhole,
Sinkhole, that's what we forgot.
We have a
I've got this
sinkhole.
sinkhole appearing out the front of my house.
Right.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Take a picture and they'll come see what the problem is.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we call this quits?
Not really. I think that our ballot is pretty cut and dry. The county's not asking for any more money.
Right.
They just want the taxes extended. And the reason that doesn't go under Tabor, it's not a different issue they're using the tax dollars on.
Oh, okay.
And that's the difference between the tobacco
Yes.
one, is that it's going not from tobacco, but to early childhood education.
Right.
So
Right.
they're just asking for permission. May we use this money over here?
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I am a smoker. Hangs head in shame. But knowing that some of that tax money is going to an incredibly good cause,
Yeah,
to me
educate
it's
kids,
important.
Yeah.
Joan, thank you so much for joining us today, for making this simpler. You do a wonderful job turning them into plain English, basically.
Hope so.
You do a great job doing it. If I can understand it, anyone can understand it. Joan, once again, thank you so much for joining me at the table, going through the ballot measures, and I wish you all the best for your candidacy for Mayor of Longmont, round 2.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, that was another Rational Politics coming to you from the Captain's Lounge right here in Longmont. I'm Nigel Aves, your host. I was joined by Joan Peck, the Mayor of Longmont. She's so gracious coming in and doing these shows with us. Signing off for now. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.